What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. It is Tuesday, so we have another vendor reset on the Division 2. So let's get straight into it. Our main White House vendor holds the Grudge, which is pretty awesome. Not a bad name item if you need to bring up that proficiency here. This comes with our talent Perfect Vindictive. Killing an enemy with a status event applied grants you and all allies within 20 meters 18% critical hit chance and critical hit damage for 20 seconds. It's a really good SMG. I would actually recommend getting this to probably max out that core. Reload speed isn't too bad. You probably would want damage targets out of cover, but it's not too bad. Next up, we have a Police T821. Some bad attributes there. Our SIG 556. Our health damage is max, but everything else is pretty low. Comes with Perfect Thunderstrike. And we have our military M9, some okay attributes with, again, Perfect Thunderstrike. We have our Alp Summit Armament Backpack with our talent Overlock and some okay attributes. Those regular attributes kind of don't fit the gear set too well. We have our Ari Airaldi Holdings chest piece with our max to weapon handling, which is actually really nice, really good. This comes with our talent reassigned. Yeah, I would probably just get this just for that library attribute right there, the weapon handling. But then after that, we have our mods. Pretty good crit chance here. Some health on our drone, damage on our turret, and some skill haste on our sticky. Now let's move on to our countdown vendor. All right, countdown vendor. Here we are. We have the Baker's Dozen. Pretty good pickup. This comes with our talent Perfect Lucky Shot. Magazine capacity is increased by 30%. Missed shots from cover have a 100% chance to return to the magazine. Not a bad one. I'm actually trying to make myself a little marksman builds or rifle build or whatever, so I can actually use a lot of these named items. But next up, we have our chest piece, the Electrique named chest piece, the Henry. This comes with our talent Perfect Companion. While you are within 10 meters of any ally or skill, weapon damage is increased by 20%. This is actually a fantastic chest piece. I'd recommend buying this. I'd probably swap out that hazard protection maybe for something to maybe put a little more damage in, or you could even add up the status effects and maybe add some more status effects to it. It's not a bad chest piece. Next up, we have our rifle, a Harmony, with some really good attributes here. Probably swap out that optimal range attribute. I doubt you really need that for a rifle, but this comes with our talent Perfectly in Sync. Hitting an enemy grants plus 20% skill damage for 5 seconds. Using a non-shield skill or damaging an enemy with a skill grants 20% damage for 5 seconds. Damage increases are doubled while both are active at the same time. It's a really good rifle right here. It's actually not a bad pickup, especially with how easy it is to farm countdown. You could buy all 3 of these within just maybe 2 or 3 playthroughs. But this is our countdown vendor. Now we'll move on to our clan vendor. We're at our clan vendor. Let's see what we get. Okay, we got our named chest piece, the Cherished. With our brand sets, not too bad. Headshot damage, marksman rifle damage, status effects. This comes with our talent Perfect Trauma. Applies blind to an enemy hit in the head. Applies bleed to an enemy hit in the chest. Both the cooldowns are 20 seconds. It's not bad because this gives you some status effects. And as you can see, these are all not bad. I would probably even switch out that core attribute maybe to weapon damage. Maybe put this on on a damage build. This isn't too bad of a buy right here. Next up, we have our Striker's Battle Gear. You can never go wrong with a Striker build. If you don't have one now, I would definitely recommend making one. Definitely a strong build, high damage. It helps you get through countdown and help out a lot of your support agents very well. Next up, we have our Negotiator's Dilemma, another pretty good just straight damage build here, and it's actually, the attributes aren't too bad. They're not really low. This is definitely something worth to buy if you're just starting out, you haven't farmed through Summit or Countdown yet. Here we are. You have some good ones, and including even your Heartbreaker. All 3 great gear sets to make builds on. So if you're just starting out, you want to experiment, you have nothing maxed out, you have the currency, just buy it. Get started, see how it is if it's your playstyle. Next up, we have our Officer M9A1 pistol, some okay attributes with our talent Salvage. This isn't too bad. I'll probably switch out that talent. Next up, we have our PP19 SMG. Again, some great attributes. SMG damage crit chance is pretty decent up there. Damage to armor, not bad. This comes with our talent Flatline. You could probably use this if you're running a Heartbreaker build. If so, you have your kind of first two pieces right here. Especially if you don't have your King Breaker, you got something with Flatline. Next up, our Arialdi Holdings holster, marked with our brand set marksman rifle damage, headshot damage, damage to armor, really good brand set bonuses, and even the core and the regular attributes are pretty high up there. It's actually a really good holster. This is actually not a bad buy if you have nothing maxed out to give you some damage on any of your build, or whatever the case is. That marksman rifle damage, I don't have a marksman rifle build yet, but if you have one, this is not a bad holster. Next up, our M16 rifle isn't too bad. This comes with damage to targets out of cover, which is great. It's always an attribute you should probably use on your weapons, unless the build you're currently running, something else might benefit a bit more. But this comes with our talent Sadist, isn't too bad. Then we have our Yao Gear backpack, hazard protection, weapon damage, and pulse resistance. This is probably something a little more for Dark Zone or PvP or something like that. You have your protection against other agents. But this comes with our talent Calculated, kills from cover, reduce skill cooldowns by 10%. Next up, our chest piece, Overlord Armaments, with almost maxed weapon damage, 14.9. That's pretty crazy. I'm surprised they didn't just max it out, or if this is just random. Attributes are pretty low, but it's not bad. You swap out that armor regen, and you'll have a pretty good chest piece. This comes with your talent Braced while in cover. While in cover, weapon handling is increased by 45%. Not bad. Next up, we have our Petrov Defense Group backpack. Attributes are pretty good. Your weapon damage isn't too high, but you have that max crit chance. You could probably max out your core, or even switch out that regular attribute to maybe crit damage, and you'll have a decent backpack. Unfortunately, it just comes with the talent Calculated, which the other backpack had. I don't know why it's a lot of repetition on talents and stuff to the stores, but not a bad backpack. Mods, pulse resistance, pretty high up there. Repair skills, protection from elites, and our max targets. I'm actually gonna buy this because I know exactly what that is. And now we will move on toward our other locations. First up being the campus. All right, we're at the campus. See what's going on. We have our named marksman rifle, the Commando, with some okay attributes, so not too bad. And this comes with our talent Perfectly Naked. Hitting an enemy with no armor grants plus 50% headshot damage for 8 seconds. That's pretty good. That's not bad at all. And next up, we have our marksman rifle Hunting M44 with max damage to armor. This comes with our talent Fast Hands. Critical hits add a stack of 4% reload speed bonus. Max stack is 40. That's actually pretty cool, because that's not a bad talent. And then you switch out the headshot damage for a max headshot damage, and you have a really good marksman rifle right here. This actually might be a pretty good buy if you need a decent marksman rifle for a build. Next up, our LMG, the Black Market M60 with max LMG damage. Coming with our talent Vindictive. Killing an enemy with the status effect applied grants you and all allies within 15 meters 15% crit chance and crit damage for 20 seconds. Not too bad, although that core of damage to target out of cover is kind of low. Would probably max that one out, but then again, will the talent work with this weapon if you're not running anything on status effects? So you might switch that out, you might not, depending on what you're using on this for. Next up, we have that Grupo Sombra mask with some okay attributes. That hazard protection probably would go, but aside from that, it's not too bad. The weapon damage is kind of low, but optimization shouldn't be too difficult. Next up, we have our holster, the Cheska. I wouldn't even know how to pronounce this. Yomvroba. I don't know if I probably butchered that, but we have our pretty high weapon damage here and some okay attributes. We'll probably swap out that status effect if you're not running anything that has status effects, and you'll have a decent holster here. Next up, our mods. We have some skill duration, some burn strength on our sticky, some stim charges on our hive, effect duration on our pulse, and some duration on our hive, on our trap actually. On our hive, the first one was the trap. They look the same. Wow. All right, but next up, we're gonna move toward the theater. All right, we're at the theater. We have our artist tool. Artist tool with some okay attributes, honestly. They're all really low. I'm not sure if I would purchase this. But this comes with our talent Perfect Rifleman. Landing headshots adds a stack of bonus plus 11% weapon damage for 5 seconds. That's weird. I don't know if it's just me. Max stack is 6. Additional headshots refresh the duration. It's actually not too bad, but I've been running Countdown a lot lately. I've definitely unlocked just prioritizing assault rifles as my targeted loot. I've unlocked plenty of god rolls of this weapon. I wouldn't bother purchasing it. Next up, we have our double barrel shotgun, some okay attributes, nothing crazy with our talent Optimist. Next up, we have our UIC 15 rifle with again some okay attributes and our talent Sledgehammer. Then we have our China Light Industries Corporation gloves with some okay attributes. They definitely fit the brand set bonuses, but they're pretty low, those attributes, so I'm not sure if I would waste my currency on this. Then we have our Walker Harrison Co. knee pads, some okay attributes. The headshot damage is pretty high, weapon damage is okay, armor regen is horrible. We'll definitely swap that one out. Then we have our mods, some blind depth resistance, skill haste, deflector damage on our shield, max targets on our, I forget what it's called, and then the duration on our little drone thing. Now we move to our settlement, the castle. Here we are, Dark Zone West. Let's get to it. We have our firm handshake, max status effect, some explosive resistance, some weapon damage. This isn't too bad. I would probably maybe swap out that explosive resistance, and you have a pretty good set of firm handshakes. You just would have to optimize that core a little higher. It isn't too bad. Next up, our Spaz 12. Some attributes are okay overall, but they could be better. This comes with our talent Sadist, which that's probably what I would be swapping out if you're not running anything that applies bleed damage. Next up, our lightweight M4 rifle. Some attributes that are pretty decent. It's a lot better than last week, I'll tell you that. With a talent Killer, which is a great talent. This is actually a pretty good rifle right here. Not a bad purchase if you have the Dark Zone currency. A Rigger gear set, which the attribute you could always just swap out for something max. The core won't change. So it's definitely one of the easier gear sets to make a build on, I would say. Then we have our Ongoing Directive, some okay attributes. You could definitely probably find some better, run some Summoner Countdown. Our Fenris Group gloves, which I wouldn't get these. Those attributes, I personally would be using these gloves for some type of damage build, so these attributes probably wouldn't fit very well. Then we have our Grupo Sombra knee pads. Again, the attributes are okay. These last two kind of took an L, but the ones up top aren't too bad. We have our mods, protection from elites, some cluster mine, additional cluster mine, some deflector damage on our shield, max targets on our Firefly, and health on our hologram. Alright, now we'll move on to Dark Zone South. Here we are, Dark Zone South, starting off with 0 Fs. Very nice chest piece. I actually use this personally on my Hunter's Fury, but the only issue with this is our attributes are pretty bad. I don't think these attributes would fit a lot of builds that you would probably use this chest piece for, but you have your talent Perfectly Unbreakable. When your armor is depleted, repair 100% of your armor. So clutch, especially with Hunter's Fury. You're a little more in their face because you need that talent for Hunter's Fury to kind of kick in. So being in their face and knowing that, hey, if I get cracked, I kind of in a sense have a second life. This is definitely not a bad chest piece, although these attributes are pretty bad. Next up, we have our Enhanced AUG SMG. Attributes are pretty good. Nothing's below half or close to half, so that's good to see. With our talent Steady Handed, I would probably swap out that talent for something a little more, I guess you could say, damage output, probably, maybe, but it's not a bad one. Steady Handed hits grant a stack of 1% accuracy and stability. At 100 stacks, consumes them to refill the mag. So it's actually not a bad talent at all, especially for an SMG when it comes to accuracy and maybe a little more at a distance. It's actually a pretty good talent for it if you're not going to be up close in the face. Next up, we have our G36C assault rifle. talents are a bit lower than our last one, I would say overall. Maybe they average about the same. But this comes again with a talent Thunderstrike. If you don't have Thunderstrike in your library by now, there's a problem. I feel like we see this thing like 3 times a week. Next up, we have our military M9 pistol, some okay attributes with our talent Strained. And we have our gear sets. Tip of the spear backpack isn't too bad. The weapon damage is pretty high up there. It's not too bad. Maybe swap out that attribute. We have hardwired. Core attribute is not something you have to worry about, which is great. You can just max out that regular attribute. We have our 511 tactical backpack. Some okay attributes with our talent Adrenaline Rush. I haven't yet used this backpack personally. I'm pretty sure I've used it in the beginning when I really had no idea what I was doing. I had no build whatsoever put together, just random pieces. So as you can see, that's why it's a rank 10. But aside from that, I haven't really used this backpack for anything, so I might need to think of something. Next up, we have our Providence Defense chest piece. Again, attributes are okay. This will probably be a little better. It's actually a pretty good chest piece, maybe for Dark Zone. You have your hazard protection, maybe swap out that status effect, and you have the regular unbreakable talent, which repairs 95%. Really not bad. That 5% will probably matter, but then again, it's like, will it really matter? It's still pretty good because you're getting that health boost the moment your armor boost the moment your armor is depleted. And we have our mods, some crit chance, deflect duration on our drone, health on our turret, and some skill haste on our sticky. Now we move over to Dark Zone East. Alright, here we are, Dark Zone East with the White Death. Some okay attributes. That max headshot damage is nice. That's what comes with the weapon. This one comes with perfect Thunderstrike. It kind of sucks because I would want to max out that regular attribute, but at the same time, would you use the White Death on a status effect build, or specifically one that does shock to targets? I don't know. I probably would switch out that talent. It's a tough choice, but you have your named item, the White Death here. Next up, we have the Tactical 308. Again, another one with some pretty low attributes aside from the headshot damage. With your target close and personal, you're probably definitely not using this talent on a marksman rifle, so it's probably not a pickup right here. Then we have our military L86 light machine gun with the attributes pretty bad. Just by the attributes alone would make me not purchase this. It's an okay talent you have there, but yeah, you could definitely find just better LMGs. Next up, we have our Striker battle gear, which that core is really bad. You definitely want to switch out that regular attribute possibly, unless you're running a St. Elmo's and you want some more status effects on there, but I'm not too sure. Then we have our Cavalier, which, wow, that core is horrible. The regular attribute's pretty good, but that core you would have to max out. You would have to max that out 100%, but this is not bad. Next up, we have our Heraldi Holdings mask with a pretty good core. Attributes are actually not bad. It's actually decent. Maybe swap out the status effect if you aren't running status effects, and you have a pretty good mask right here. Then we have our Cheska holster with, this is actually a really good holster, because if you buy this holster, you can just max out that crit chance, and you have a fantastic holster with that brand set crit chance if you're only running one piece, and you have some more crit chance, you could even swap it to crit damage. Then you have your headshot damage. You'll have everything: headshot damage, crit chance, and weapon damage, all in one holster. This is a pretty good pickup right here. Now we have our mods, our skill haste, our duration, health, cone size, and duration. Mods are usually not good, so I don't really go through them that bad. But we have, last but not least, New York. Alright, here we are. We're in New York. Starting with our Vector SBR 9mm. Attributes are pretty low all around with our talent Optimist. I'm not sure if I would purchase this guy right here. Next up, we have our G28 marksman rifle. Again, low core attributes. This might be the L just like last week. I think last week New York was pretty bad. With our talent in sync, our SIX 12 swap speed is the max thing, but How many people actually use swap speed? I need to know. There's probably something a build that's very niche for swap speed, but I can't think of anything that I personally would like to use that would need it. This comes with our talent Pummel. We have our Police 686 Magnum pistol. Again, attributes are okay with our talent Salvage. The Electric chest piece, which isn't too bad with our yeah, the attributes could definitely be better. That core is going to be the core no matter what. You probably switch out the headshot damage for maybe some status effects, and you'll be pretty good with that. This comes with our talent Gunslinger. Weapon swapping increases total weapon damage by 20% for 5 seconds. This buff is lost for 5 seconds if you weapon swap while it is active. You see, I can see that talent pairing well with a swap speed kind of thing. But then again, it's like, why, if you can put out more damage, have more health, or like, other things that are probably a little more beneficial. And then we have our 511 tactical gloves with some okay attributes, nothing crazy there. Our Petrov defense group mask, that core is pretty good. Attributes are okay. You could maybe swap out that extra health for something a little better, being that you're at least a shade level 1000 because you'll have your max health. Now for our mods, we have our shock resistance and snare resistance, health on our drone, effect duration on our pulse, and duration on our hive. But that is it for our weekly reset. This is going to be the last time I do the weekly reset in this way. Next week, we're going to focus more on just the particular pieces that are just beneficial. I'm no longer just going to go through them just to tell you what's on there and give a quick thought. I do that because I don't want the videos to be too long. But from now on, I'm just going to focus on the main things that are worth purchasing and why I feel they're worth purchasing, so we're not going through every little item that's changed on the vendors. But comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you like that switch of an idea? Feel like it's a little more beneficial to you guys? It gets me a little more excited to actually talk about these things. But until then, I'll see you all on the next one.